So today we're going to work on the IDEA project, and I have my IDEA software opened. If you downloaded the zip file with the software in it, then you should have created a folder on your computer, put the zip file in it, extract the files out of the zip into the new folder you created. Then you can use the setup, double click on the setup file and install IDEA on your machine. If IDEA asks you for an ID, you have tried to install it inside the zip folder. So cancel out and then extract those files and use the install folder. Double click on the setup folder that is in the file you created, not the zipped file, and then install. And if that doesn't work, contact me. So your screen should look somewhat like this one. You probably have different files in your library over here. If this is the first time you've used IDEA, you have the sample files that come with the software. If you did the MADON project in the forensic class, like I did, you might have the MADON database projects here. It doesn't matter if you have some files here. You can get rid of them if you don't like them by just right-clicking and hitting delete, and it will get rid of them. So if that pleases you to have a empty screen, you can get rid of the sample files or the prior project files, and that is fine. So I got rid of all those folders. And then now I want to import the data for the IDEA project. So the way I did that was click on this desktop icon on the home tab. So home tab, desktop. When you do that, the import assistance will come up, and click on Microsoft Excel. And then you want to click on the breadcrumbs here and then search on your computer for where the folder you created that has the 3 Excel files that you downloaded from D2L, from the IDEA folder, project folder in D2L. So here you can see I set up this folder on my computer and I have the 3 files in it. So I'm going to click on the data file. Doesn't matter which one you do first. These 2 we're going to import. We're not going to import the program. And so then I'm going to hit OK. All right. And then I'm going to hit next. And you're going to make sure that only sheet 1 is coming in. And that you click that the first row has field names. Okay. If you don't do that, it's going to assume that the field names are part of the data set, and since they're character rather than numeric, it's going to mess up the data formatting. So you definitely don't want to do that. So sheet 1 and first row's field names, and then you can hit OK. And it will open up. You can close it, or you can double click on it and it will open back up. So that's easy to do. If you want to look at the file name to see how many records are in it, you can of course change the size of these screens by just dragging and moving those around. So I have 3,990 records, so if that's how many records you have, you're matching me. So I'm going to close this now, and I'm going to import the next file. Click on Excel, then go to the breadcrumbs and find that folder. So once you find the second one, hit import. Remember, first row is field names. If you don't click on that, you're going to get something goofy. If you get something goofy, it doesn't matter. Go over here to the library, right click delete, and just import again. You haven't done anything serious. This particular file only has 1 tab, so it's not going to ask you which tabs you want to import. Okay, and so there's my prohibited codes. And that one has 937 records. So the reason I have a discipline of closing out the files is when I get ready to do some actions, I don't want it to accidentally do the actions on the wrong database. So I'm always paying attention to what database is open. If you have multiple databases open at the top, you might think you're working on the database that's visually on the screen, but the tab that's selected is not the one that your eyeballs are looking at. So just heads up there. And again, if you accidentally do something on a wrong file, it's not a problem. Right click, get rid of it, and just do it again. So hopefully you've already read the story. I'm back on the audit program file here, the story here about the task and the controls around the P card, the purchasing card. First of all, I'm already noticing that I have more records than I'm supposed to, so my antenna are up that something's going on. But here's my audit program. And the first thing I'm supposed to do is verify that I only have January through April transactions. All right, so let's go ahead and do that now. There's more than one way I can do it. I just opened up the data file here by just double clicking on it. And I can double click at the top here and get it to sort. And when I do, I notice, oops, wait a minute, I've got some May transactions in here. It did start with January, but when I double click here, I've got May. Well, I should only have January through April. So I'm going to get rid of the May transactions. And the way I'm going to do that is extraction. And extraction is a way to reach in and pull out a handful of things that meet your criteria. So we're going to go into this data file and pull out January through April, which are the data that we wish to work with. All right, let's do that now. So with the database open, I'm going to go up here under File, and I'm going to hit Direct, and I'm going to be doing a direct extraction. And there's a little calculator in here where I can put the search criteria or the extraction criteria. And when I start typing in, I want date. When I start typing in transaction date, it immediately gives me some choices, so I can double click on transaction date. And that's real nice because then I don't have to worry about misspelling or not putting the underline correctly, or it not being a complete match with the data label. So I want transactions that are less than, and I need quote so that it knows it's a date, 2010 May 1st. So that's the formatting that IDEA recognizes for the date fields. And then to be sure that it understands my instructions, you go up to the yellow check mark and you click it. And if you get an error, it means you got some sort of typo and you got to go back and fix your formula. Here it accepted that, so that's the same as saying, okay, I understand your instructions, that you want to extract all the data in this file that has a transaction date of less than May 1st, 2010. And then you can hit OK. And I have a new file here. See the new one? And I could have named it. So now let's verify that this file is what we want it to be. So I'm going to close the data file and open the extracted file. And I'm going to go over here to the right and I'm going to click on field statistics, and it's going to say not all the fields are numeric and therefore can't be statistically summed up, and that's okay. I'm going to say yes, and then I get this array. And so then I compare it to the bottom of the memo in your audit program file. All right, let's see here. Number of records, that's a match. The sum of all the card numbers, it's a nonsense number, but it does match. The absolute value, positive 10,351,842 is a match. The minimum value is a match. So it's looking pretty good. Where's the I don't see, oh, there's the minimum value on the documents, negative 27,000, maximum 50,000, maximum 9,999. Okay, so for the card numbers. So that's all looking pretty good. Now we can go back to that first audit step and say that we verified it. So May activity removed, January through April transactions confirmed, and then your initials. And then we did this. Of course, you're putting your initials, not mine. Now we want to verify that all transactions are from valid merchant codes. And we'll do that in a new movie in a minute. All right, so we're going to take a pause.